Welcome back. It's Kovacs Report. And my good buddy Jimmy X talk about the comic books of the week. What a week it's been, Jim.
What a week indeed. Yeah,
It
some
has.
really strong books this week.
There have been. There's been some dogs, but do you know what? There's been more good books than bad books this week, I find. But anyway, that's just with what I've picked up.
I agree.
Yes. We're going to dive straight into the comics, my friends. And we're going to take one of the big books of the week that everybody's been waiting for. Giant Size X-Men. Where do we start with this, Gem? Now, see, I reckon you and I are going to have differing opinions.
I think you might possibly be right.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. We are. Okay, I've done a solo review of this, so most people know, but we're going to go through these books quickly. I'm not going to do the page by page. We're going to let's go through it. So, yeah, we'll have to do every single panel. But listen, this is supposed to celebrate 50 years, right? Of the book that basically relaunched the X-Men, took the X-Men from the bottom of the pile to the top of the pile and made it into the absolute juggernaut, pun intended, the absolute juggernaut that it is today.
I mean, what Dave Cockrum and Len Wein did back then cannot be understated. They revolutionized the comic book industry.
Exactly. So you would expect this book to pay homage to that and show respect to the original work and continuing the legacy to honor those great creators and what they did, right? Let's jump in. And I'm going to say, right, because I've been saying this quite a lot, Marvel is fixated with Kamala Khan, right? You've got to admit that. They are trying to shoehorn her into everything. This whole celebration isn't celebrating Giant Size 50 years. This whole celebration is 5 books to smash you in the face with Kamala Khan because they want Kamala Khan to basically replace Spider-Man.
I completely see your point, Angelo. But can I just shock you?
Go on.
I like Kamala Khan.
Well, listen, it's not about liking Kamala Khan or not, right? It's not about that.
I think she's a fun character.
Maybe so, but dude,
like Marvel TV show, I enjoyed the Marvels. I enjoyed Iman Vellani's portrayal of the character as well. I like the character. I had the first few trades when it first started. I really like Miss Marvel. What can I say?
I'll ask you a question. You're in a shop now. We know you like your caps, Jim. Right? Your wife says, "Listen, Jim, I'm going to buy you a present today. You have a choice between this amazing Spider-Man cap." I'm sure she did. You've got a choice between the amazing Spider-Man cap or the Kamala Khan cap. Which cap are you going to buy?
Well,
and be honest, Jim.
Cap,
exactly. Right. It's not that it's a bad character. It's just no replacement. And that's what Marvel's trying to do. They're trying to replace. Right. Let's get into the book. So we get this chappie turning up at this X facility. Now, I was assuming this might be what the X facility became, that the current X books, they've got some facility, right? This huge sort of old Sentinel factory, right?
Yeah.
I was maybe thinking this was that Sentinel factory, but I don't know where this is. I don't know when
Alaska,
it is.
That's for sure.
No, definitely not in Kansas anymore. No, you're right. So anyway, this chap turns up, and as you can see, is heavily guarded, right? They know some dude's turning up and they are ready for war. But this guy, I'm not going to talk about the dialogue. Let's just say there's dialogue which could be improved. He makes short work of them, right? And vaporizes them in the air. And then he has this little monologue and we learn that he's Legion, right? But he's also, to get onwards, he's also basically, that's the body of
X-Men character.
Major X-Men character, Professor X's son, right?
Yeah, to a point. It's
to a point. That's who he's supposed to be, right?
Disassociated identities that embody the same form, and I don't think David Haller's part of that anymore because of the
no. Well, that's what I'm getting to. What I'm saying is, yeah. What I'm saying is, I'm going to show you what he appears to be. Then we're going to go through what he actually is. So it appears that that's who it is. Right. Don't jump ahead, Jim. Right. It appears that it's David, but it isn't David. They are Legion. And it explains later on in the book or somewhere that anything that was David has already left. That there's no David left in this body, but the mind is a collection of sort of I guess trapped souls.
There were some nasty pieces of work in there.
Yeah,
Mad Jack, for example. Yeah,
exactly. Yes, Mad Jack. There we go.
On that Claremont stuff fondly.
I wish he was writing this. Anyway, we then jump. We then jump to, I guess, New York, right? And Kamala and her sort of love interest, I guess that's growing here.
Bruno. From MIT. Yeah.
Bruno, crikey. Anyway, they're sitting atop this lamppost, just chatting, doing teen things. And Bruno just so happens to have a time travel detector device on him. I mean, of all the things you pick up when you leave, right? Go wallet, keys, watch. Where's that time travel detector? I might need. I mean,
he's a clever lad, is Bruno. So I won't put it past him.
You are doing your best to defend this book. Anyway, detections of time travel apparent in this huge page. The art isn't blowing me away in this book.
And let's not kid ourselves, man. Time travel and the X-Men go hand in hand, and they always have.
Yeah, but mate, dude, almost every book I read this week had time travel in it. It is getting crazy. It's out of hand. It's getting out of hand. It's like have a symbiote and time travel, and you are good.
That's fair enough, man. But X-Men made it.
I know. And this whole I know. All right, I'll let you have it. You are doing your best. Anyway, we are transported many years in the past to Professor Xavier's mansion, Westchester, New York. And Cyclops is not having a good day. He is not having a good day. As you can see, he's blasting the sky, screaming. And what's basically happened is, crikey, I can't believe I'm saying it. So him and his team, they went to this island in the South Pacific called Krakoa, right? Which we all know what that is.
We know and love Krakoa.
Yeah, that was a great run by the master himself. And he lost his team, and by some magic, he's been pulled out and they left behind, right? So she turns up and says, "Hey, I'm Kamala," and she's like, "Yeah, I remember you. We've met each in the past. We've done some stuff in the past, because there's more time traveling, right?"
Brian Michael Bendis' All New X-Men. Have you read that?
True. I remember Brian Michael Bendis. I wish he'd come back as well. But listen,
it's a trip, man. Hank McCoy, the Beast, he brings the original 5 X-Men, including a young version of himself, forward in time to now to see what a state the X-Men are in now. And young Cyclops and Miss Marvel, after the second Civil War, they end up forming the champions. So yeah,
they do indeed. It would be nice if Bendis could look upon what's happening now and work his magic here. But anyway, I digress.
I'll just take new issues of Powers, man. I'm good.
Yeah, okay, we'll talk about that soon. Right, so Professor X is not happy that she's there, obviously, for all the usual paradox-breaking rules and what could happen to the future if you come back to the past, etc., that old trope. And then he very, very quickly isn't angry at her and decides to chat to Reed Richards and get a 1970s style suit. And again, this book becomes a fashion show. I mean, is that important? No, it's not. I don't even know why it's there. It's really starting, this book at this page already started annoying me.
It's just a homage Jean Grey's classic look, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but it's like it's unnecessary. It's like we're X-Men. Hey, oh, by the way, I'll get you a nice costume. Come on, it's not Sex in the City. This is X-Men. Anyway, the team's all there. They've tried to capture the sort of voices of the team from the original book. It is done that. I don't think it kind of works in the modern day and age, but it is there. They're paying homage, and they decide that they're going to go and try and rescue the original X-Men. Now, if you have read the original giant-sized X-Men, basically this is kind of like a what if. Kind of. It's what if Miss Marvel was there? What would happen? All right. I mean, unfortunately, this is canon. Fair. It is, isn't it? It's like suddenly, actually, she was there. She was there, and that's what happens. So they fly off, they get blown out of the sky, and then this is Cyclops I think he's planking. I don't know why. It just feels really odd. Like Colossus's face looks like Iron Man from Tales of Suspense 39. It's just not good. And I don't know what happens to Miss Marvel's mouth. But anyway, the art isn't great. And then Legion's there. Hi, I'm Legion. I'm not going to explain why I'm here. But I'm here, and I need Kamala. I think that's what he needs. Right. So I have some really bad dialogue, which just explains. Oh, you must be, and they're falling. Bear in mind, and they have chance to have this long conversation while they're drifting down to the floor. Okay, and then it just gets worse from there. Man. It isn't comics, right? It isn't comics, right? It isn't comics. It's bad writing.
Okay, dude.
Anyway, So Krakoa is there. Krakoa is angry. Now, again, if you followed the original book, these are the events that transpired, which the original X-Men went through. But now we've got this rescue mission and Kamala thrown into the mix. And basically, she talks to Krakoa. She talks Krakoa off the ledge. And this is the part where I almost threw the book out the window, right? She says, so starting today, Krakoa, you got to be what you were born to be. A giant-sized X-Man.
And if
this isn't comics, Jim.
If this was Mystery Science Theater 3000, the robots would be shouting, they said the name of the movie.
Exactly. But it isn't. It's supposed to be this beautiful homage to a great book. So the events that unfolded still unfold. They just unfold in this manner, and these are the reasons why. And then it gets a bit silly with this dialogue. And then basically Miss Marvel punches Legion out. So the only positive thing from this book is that I think Miss Marvel's powers have been sort of hotly debated, developing. She's not sure what she can and what she can't do. And here we have some kind of manifestation that this is one of your powers, right? So I guess this will get explained further on in the rest of these giant-sized books, and maybe the main title that she's in.
Yeah, it's possible.
And that's what happens. So he gets knocked out basically, or falls to the ground, and then she lands outside a totally pleasant suburban household, quote unquote, where she rustles through the bushes to find the X team there, and Jean Grey about to go nuclear.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Honestly, Jim. Honestly, Jim.
I had a nice time. I enjoyed it.
You had a nice time.
Yeah.
I didn't. I did not. This does not bode well for the rest of the books, I'm afraid, Jim. It does not bode well.
That's fair enough, man.
I don't know why you like it. I thought you have more. I thought you have more taste.
Wow. Okay. Hey, don't hold back. Say what you really think. I mean,
right. Let's move on from one X book to another. Okay, which in my opinion are quite diametrically opposed in every possible way. So, Gail Simone, David Marquez.
X is X, man. You know.
Well, the Uncanny X is a bit different because it's better. Here we are with Dark Artery Part 3 or 4. Now, I will prefix this. I've said it before in my solo.
I'm sorry.
What? You got look. It's honest reviews, right? It's honest reviews, and that's honestly how I feel. And that's honestly how you feel.
I feel too. Yeah,
exactly. And I haven't said you can't have that opinion. I've just said it's wrong. Now, let's jump into Uncanny X-Men, Jim. So you know what?
Okay.
Gail Simone, in my opinion, is the cornerstone of this whole X relaunch. She's the only thing holding it together at this point, I think.
Very true.
Very true. Like I say, I do prefer the more classic X-Men characters in a team, but we've got these outliers, these teen, what are they? I guess they're runaways of a kind, you know, and the X-Men, i.e. Rogue, Gambit, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Jubilee, are kind of taking them under their wing and looking after them, right, basically, right? So it's interesting. Now, the last issue we had Man-Thing guarding the daughter of Penumbra, which is basically eternal punishment for bad people who have basically hurt or done something rotten to their siblings who happen to be mutants, or people who basically were mutants. Yeah. Now, Lady Henrietta, and she's the guardian of this whole thing, basically, right? And she has called the outliers there because she's had enough, basically, I think. She wants to get out and she needs a replacement, right? And that replacement, right? Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Now, before any of that happens, at this dark arch as it's occurred, she's thrown in a little spanner in the works here. Some ravaged-looking transformer, robot-looking mechanical dog has awakened and is heading to where they are, which is Haven House. And I thought,
yeah, the Sentinel dogs.
The Sentinel dogs, yes. Is that what they are?
Yeah. In a previous arc, they attacked the outliers in a shopping mall. You might remember I reviewed it.
No, because I said I've done a solo review of this, and I said I was jumping back in with this arc, so I wouldn't have seen that. So someone, I'm sure, will correct me in the comments to tell me how much I don't know about Uncanny X-Men. And there's a lot. I'll be honest, there is a lot.
But no, there was one that was damaged during the fight, and I guess now it's awake.
I see. So it's rebooted its systems. It's ready to rock, right? Okay, speaking of Lady Henrietta, we get a bit more of her backstory, you know, from 100 or so years ago. And she was pursued to Haven, where this dark artery is, where this house in Louisiana and the X-Men are. And this is where she went to sort of get some kind of escape the world. And she meets these other fellow mutants who basically bring her friend who was shot by these government agents, these that day Sentinels, and allow her.
Sentinels at the time,
yeah. They're basically guards. I guess they are what the X-Men are doing now, right? They're the sort of the guardians of the house and the artery. So we then jump back. And we pick up from the last issue where Rogue, in her rage, went and tried to smack out the dragon, but honestly, she just got frozen in place. So she's literally chilling out now, and she discovers that the kids have gone to this place, and the other people in the house have said, "Oh, yeah, well, we know about this." And she's like, "Why have you told me?" Like, Remy, Gambit, dude, this is your home. Why have you not told me about this?
Of course he knows.
Like, it's the kind of thing you tell your missus, especially when you take her down to this house, right? Oh, yeah, I forgot about this gateway to a hell for people that have been nasty to mutants.
To be fair to Remy, the Eye of Agamotto is he's not in his right mind at the moment.
There we go, Jim, making excuses for his bad behaviour. Don't condone his bad behaviour. He should have told her, all right? He owed her that. Now, the Dark Artery, Lady Henrietta, right? She's quite badass, actually. I think she's going to maybe prove to be a little bit more than a sort of a friend, because at the moment she's playing the game as of a friend, but she has her own needs, which I guess she wants out. But why does she want out? What is she going to do when she gets out? Anyway, she tells the kids that the voice in the darkness, right, the Shuvarak, is guarding this Penumbra place. That's the big bad down there. Okay, and we're going to meet them soon because they look pretty cool. I've got to admit, the art in this book is superb, absolutely superb.
Oh, yeah, Marquez.
I love it. And the colouring is great as well. And you got to admit, man, it is beautiful to look at. So anyway, she explains to the kids that, look, one of you's got to replace me, and of course it's going to be Hotoru, right? Is it Hotoru? That's how you pronounce his name? Yeah. And he's kind of like dark, deaf guy anyway. So this is kind of almost what, is what suits him and his mutation and his personality anyway. So he is pretty much, the right person for the job.
Ground,
yeah. The other kids are saying, no, we're not going to let you go. We're not going to leave you on your own. And they're going to fight for him because, they love each other. And we'll talk about love in a second. Now, they get this new costume when they come in. I don't know how that happens.
How metal are these costumes, though?
They are metal, but I don't know where they've come from. I mean, and apparently they pulse, and apparently it's non-negotiable. You have to have these costumes in there. But why? It isn't explained. I'd like to know why. I mean, or is it just an excuse to have badass costumes?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, again, it's not a criticism. I'm just genuinely interested. Anyway, she shows them the forlorn city of Penumbra. She explains everything about the, Shuvarak. I think that's how you pronounce it. And she says that it's full of people who are very angry. There's a lot of rage down there. They don't like being down there. I mean, would you? Of course you wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't. But they do progress further towards this city as Rogue and Beefcake Wolverine, right, who's stealing the show on the internet. I said it in my solo review. There's a huge thread on Gail's Twitter, I think, who thanking her for putting Logan in these little booty shorts. It's hilarious.
It does sound like something that Gail would lean into.
Yeah, she did. Anyway, well, it makes a change for all the women being in skimpy costumes, right? So fair's fair. Anyway, they decide they're going to go and help the kids out because I guess kids on their own down in there, it ain't going to end well for anybody, really. Let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. So sure enough, we get another flashback about these mutants and explain that they saved her friend that protected her from these Sentinels. We get a little bit more, but we do learn that she's given the opportunity to basically kill them, right? And she lets them live. So it shows at this point, maybe she still had morals. She still was thinking about what she was doing. Maybe she hasn't been stuck down in the pits of hell for, a century or so. But it's interesting she let them go. I'm wondering if that's going to come back and haunt her later. Then we jump to Hotoru, and he's fully embracing what's going on down there. He's in his element. This big fight ensues. There's a little moment here which we don't need to talk about, but then Man-Thing turns up, just sets someone on fire. It's brilliant. And of course the cavalry arrive.
Good old Ted.
Yep. The cavalry arrive to help the kids out and find out what's going on. And then we get this last page of that BattleBot robot dog thing, cat. It's outside. It's coming for you.
Supposedly defenseless haven. But
yes,
I
supposedly defensive.
I don't believe that Gambit's friend has
no.
defenses.
No, and if that is the sort of the last bastion of hope before you get to that dark place, right? It's not going to be guarded by a cook and a daughter, right?
Yeah,
yeah. So that's it. Again. It's cool. I like the fact she got the cats in there. That was one of my favorite panels.
I thought so. Yeah, it was just very feral, wasn't it?
Yeah. So what do you think, Jim? What do you think's going on here?
I can't wait to see the X-Men throw down next issue in their new metal costumes. That's going to be
great. They are metal.
I think this is the last part of the arc, and
no, there's one more.
Oh, is it really? Is it 5?
Yeah.
I thought it was 4.
Well, it's 4 issues. I think it's 4 parts. Let's go to the front cover. It says it on the front.
Is it?
Yeah, it's 3 or 4. It says, well, obviously, there's one more part because they've got to save the kids or whatever happens, setting up the next arc, right?
Yeah. I think this is the next issue is the last one with Marquez for a while, and the new artist, because they're going to have 2 revolving artists instead of villains now. Mm-hmm. Luciano Vecchio is going to be the new the artist on the book. So, yeah, sounds interesting.
Nice. What do you think about Henrietta? What do you think she's up to, other than getting out of there?
I mean, who knows what a long game is with that? It can't be good though.
No, I think she's going to just basically start ferrying souls to this place or something like that. That would be cool. She goes out instead of them waiting for them to come to her. I think maybe she's going to go to them. But that's that one. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's good. It is good. Again, if it was, I know that this sort of new group of kids is where it's going, and it's not my favorite, but I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm back on the book, Jim. I am back on the book.
Awesome. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, I'm sure. Let's look at one of the unexpected treats of the week.
Yeah.
Mr. Terrific. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been an ancillary character to me. He's not someone that I've ever really looked into. He's always been in all the crossovers and stuff, and I think he's in James Gunn's new Superman movie as well. So I think that's probably why they're spotlighting him again. But
that would make sense. That would make sense. Yeah, I don't have much knowledge of Mr. Terrific, bar he shows up in the cartoon sometime and he's a background character in the DC stuff that I read. But you know what? These year 1 books are always a pull for me. I mean, I love that sort of when they sort of go back and they and make it feel a bit more oldie-worldy and they tell these retell these origin stories or part of the stories from the origin that you don't know. So
with a character that you're not familiar with as well. This is the perfect place to find out about them. So yeah,
that's exactly why I jumped on. Okay, so the first few pages, they're done by another artist, and it just recaps what's happening in current time with Darkseid dying and everything else, and it sort of triggers. I think this is going to be the bookend. So we're going to go back to here. Or where this goes in the last issue, right? Because Darkseid left something behind, right? I can't remember what it was, that little card or anyway, basically something was left behind and there was a fake signature and it was like netherlight radiation. And he's like, I know where I've had that before. I need to go back to where this all started. I need to go back home, Gateway City. So that's the present, and I'm sure it's going to come back at the end where he goes to Gateway City, definitely. And the events that are happening in the past all lead into what happens there. So that's gone. This is where the art changes. And we get the that old school year 1 feel, and it's lovely. It is so nice.
Oh
yeah, it is beautiful. I love it. Now I'm telling you what, the dialogue in this book is brilliant. It flows well. It sounds real, and the sort of camaraderie, bromance between these two friends, you can really, really feel it, and it's so unforced, right? For a moment I thought I was literally in a room with 2 other people talking, right? I was just transported, and I've got to talk about this dialogue because it is so well written, and I mean really well written,
really nice naturalistic dialogue.
Absolutely. So let's jump in. So let's have a look. So Mr. Terrific, right? Years ago, you can see that his house is a bit of a mess. There's his bedroom, right? So he's lost his wife and kid. Okay, and he sold his company that him and his wife founded and took to sort of great fortune after his wife dies. He's not dealing with the aftermath of this tragedy very, very well. You know, I don't think he's going out. He's not looking after himself. And his friend comes around, his friend Dre comes around every day, I guess makes him breakfast, tries to motivate him. But they're also working on an app together. This is a fitness training app, right? Which Dre is sort of spearheading. And that's going to make them some millions, apparently. We do learn some other interesting stuff that's going on. Now, the person he sold the company to wasn't Wayne Tech, you know, it wasn't Oliver Queen's company. It was Prescott. All right. Now, Prescott, Athena Prescott, she's the CEO of this place. She is apparently, quote unquote, the visionary inventor, entrepreneur, and CEO of Prescott Industries. She's the villain. Let's be honest, right? She's obviously the villain. And she is building an energy generating device in her like headquarters skyscraper, right? And she wants to sell this tech, or rather use the tech with the city council, you know. So she's selling the use of this tech to the city council. Now, what's happening in the meantime is that whenever this thing starts humming and generating energy, people in the vicinity are getting ill. So it's actually causing harm. And Dre here, he wants to know what's going on. And he thinks that Mr. Terrific here should say something because, you know, he sold the company, his voice counts. But what he reveals is that he has obviously a clause in there where he can't say anything disparaging or be in breach. So he's like, and also I don't think he's motivated at this point to do anything. You know, he's still sort of drowning in his own misery. But Dre, you know, he's a righteous man, right? And I feel like he's going to do something about it. And sure enough, we go to the garage, and little device that he's holding is a skeleton key, which will open any door, and that will play into this story later on. Anyway, Mr. Terrific shows one of his devices, which is supposed to be like a holographic personal trainer thing. It's not quite there. It's not quite finished. But basically, they have a sort of little falling out because Mr. Terrific won't do something about this problem with Prescott Industries or whatever they're called. And he's like, basically, you know, get a spine, grow some balls, do something good for once. And he leaves in a bit of a strop. Anyway, while that's happening, Miss Prescott herself, she's a vicious, cutthroat businesswoman, basically. So the council is sort of not all of them are agreed that this is a good move, right? And when that is brought to her attention, she's like, listen, you buy it or someone else will, because there's a queue of people. And so she kind of forces them to embrace this technology and buy into it. And she's very smug about that, right? This software's not working. Yes, it is. Now, while that's happening, Mr. Terrific, he goes and has a little think by visiting the grave of his wife, and he realizes that, you know, I am making mistakes. I have messed up. I need to do something about this. This isn't me. This isn't right. I need to get off my ass. But will he be in time? No, he won't, because his friend Dre has unceremoniously stolen his super lockpick device and broken into the Prescott skyscraper to get information about this generator to prove that it's bad to the world and also maybe shut it down. But of course, they're caught on they're amateurs, right? They're caught on security cameras, and the goons turn up and make short work of them. But while they are being made short work of, one of them gets to download all this information and obviously the camera footage as well. Now, this is where she just turns on the engine, knowing that they're in there, and it blasts the crap out of them. So they're either very, very sick or dead. But Dre manages to get out, and he's like, dude, you got to come pick me up. I'm in trouble. He says, I'm on my way. So Mr. Terrific jumps in his super rad car with his high-tech glasses, and I love that, right? And then there's this panel here that I mentioned in my solo review, which I think is brilliant because it's showing just all these little things about him. He's still a cautious man, so he's got this sort of surveillance disruptor around him. Why would he have that? You know, but it's because he's clued up, right? You know,
he's a genius.
And while a dude's looking through this sort of like video, I don't know what you call it, like rifle sight to take them out, it disrupts him and pixelates him. I thought that was really clever. Like one panel was like, yeah, this is good. This is really good. Anyway, they're talking back to base with old what's her name, Athena Prescott, and they're like, basically take the shot, and boom. Guess what happens?
Oh man, yeah, this was heartbreaking.
It really was, because you know what? From the very beginning of this book to the end, I love these dudes.
Yeah.
They took him out, Jim.
With them. Yeah.
So I guess this is what kickstarts him to become Mr. Terrific, start using the tech, because he said that at the very beginning, something that I sort of waited to tell at the end, he says he doesn't have superpowers, but he has a brain, he has a mind. So he's a bit like Batman, you know, it's his skills that make him powerful. And I think this, I guess, is going to kickstart him into putting that into good use and becoming the hero that he needs to be, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I enjoyed this far more than I thought I was going to. Just a really beautifully written book. I'm definitely going to check out more of Al Letson's stuff because, yeah, this was really, really good.
It was, honestly, it was the highlight of my week, and it was a book that I thought I wouldn't get into because I'd never really experienced the character. Like I was honestly jumping for joy. And it's not often that happens.
DC, isn't it? I mean, sometimes you don't know. There's still some DC characters that I can't get into, but yeah, they did a good job making me care about these characters.
They did. I'm glad you liked it, Jim. So we do agree sometimes, right? We do agree sometimes. All right. So we're going to look at a book you yourself decided I should read, Jim.
Well,
do you know what it is?
I do. Yeah.
You do? And as soon as I can get the software to work, my friend, we can show the world. I know. Like I said, I've got this new software, which I thought was way, way better than the other one. But unfortunately, it really isn't. Give us a sec, you know. We're a new show. Right, so this should fix it. If it doesn't, we'll go to plan B. Yeah, it really isn't working. Sorry, guys. Just hang on. Angela's going to fix this. I don't know why it's not working, but it should work. It's showing up on my screen. We just can't seem to get it to show up on the main screen. Oh. There we go. See, never happened. Never happened. G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Or as we call it in our day, Action Force, right?
Action Force, 100%. Yeah. So I remember one day it suddenly became G.I. Joe, and I was like, "Is it?" But apparently, if you were American, it was always G.I. Joe.
This is the thing, right? We grew up in England knowing things a certain way, and then we go, "Oh, why is it like that?" They've changed it, and you actually know they changed it for us here in the UK, like Marathon and Snickers and all that kind of stuff.
The first I knew of it, I used to get Transformers comic, and it became Transformers and Action Force, and then one week it was Transformers and G.I. Joe. I was like, what?
I know. I even remember the theme tune to the cartoon. It's Action Force against Cobra the enemy. Remember that?
Even though that was a redub, apparently. So, yeah.
Oh, no.
No,
it would have to be, right? I can't say G.I. Joe if it's Action Force. Right. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, Jim, I'm not reading G.I. Joe. Who's the girl? Just tell me who the girl is.
Missing out. That's the girl at the start. It's Cover Girl, one of the
Cover Girl. So she's one of the Joes, right?
Yeah. She works with General Hawk a lot.
Okay, so speaking of General Hawk, she's bringing him this little document, which is, yeah, I like this bit. It's really, really good. So she's bringing this document that she's sorting out some paperwork, and it's redacted to hell, but there's one thing that stands out on it, and that's the words Night Force. He says, oh, yeah, don't worry about Night Force. That's nothing. Just something that never happened. Shredded it, right? So it's like, oh, cover up, eh? Cover up. And then we jump straight to what this issue's all about, which is mainly Beachhead. It's a self-contained story, right? Although it does lead on to something new. Right. Now, I love this, right? So there's this old bloke, one of those rich, debauched billionaires, and he collects ancient weapons, right? And he's got guards, not just the cheap kind, right? Not the cheap kind that, get cut up by, I don't know, Daredevil or someone in seconds. These are top of the range, like ex-military, badass guards. And because of this, Beachhead didn't just swan in there. He's been waiting in the sand for 3 days until the right moment came along, and he just headshots both of them, boom, boom, at the same time.
I like to think that he was waiting there so long he built those sandcastles as well.
Yeah. Well, listen, mate, this was my Jerry Maguire moment, mate. This was my Jerry Maguire moment. This book had me right here. Anyway,
cool.
He gets in there, and he's been... Sorry?
Maybe I'll go back and read the rest of it, because
I'm absolutely going to, yeah. Right. So he's got his intel, but his intel is bad. Now, he's been tasked picking up this item. They didn't mention that it's a giant bloody crate, right? Human-sized crate. And he's like, well, how am I going to get this out of here, right? He's like, right, I'm going to have to steal a truck. Now, while that's happening, our rich billionaire here, Mr. Miyagi-looking guy, he's entertaining some very young women, actually, but against the intel that he was given. He said he was supposed to be alone. So this is complicating things. Now, while he's fiddling around, some other people are there to steal this too. All right. And they're using a lot of these old weapons, which are, I guess, hanging on the walls, part of this guy's collection, and they want it, and they're going to fight for it. And we get this really cool fight scene, which I really, really like. But there's more than one. There's a whole gang of them. Right, and while he's taking them down, they go through the wall. We get to meet this billionaire again, entertaining these ladies. This is like a Diddy party. This needs to be investigated, right? But while that's happening, and he's being sort of detained, the other goons basically they steal this artifact of some kind by ripping it out of the window of the truck, which is cool. So he just jumps out there and rides it, and I was like, hell yeah. I like this. Lots of shooting, goons everywhere, so awesome. Shoots the chain so it skids to a halt. But of course, there's going to be more goons behind, right? And they are catching up. And he thinks, oh my God, this is the end, mate. This mission was supposed to prove I've still got it. And that I shouldn't be just sidelined to train the next generation, my replacements.
Yes,
but luckily...
Which is what he's doing in Action Force the movie.
Oh, really?
That's a nod. That's a nod to the original canon.
Christ, I haven't seen it for so many years.
I've loved Beat Shit ever since Action Force the movie. When he's putting the new recruits through their paces, it's hilarious. It's so cool. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
No, you got stuff to say. You say it, Jimbo. So, luckily for our hero here, a winch and a ship appears above him, and he gets winched away to safety. Now, someone's pissed off that they lost their little prize, which is none other than
Baron Blood.
Baron Blood. And he's not pleased.
Oh, yes.
Yes. He's so displeased with his little goons, he shoots them for messing up. And I thought, oh my God, it's getting better and better. I love that stuff. Now, who has come to the rescue? None other than...
Flint and Lady J.
Flint and Lady Jane.
G.I. Joe stuff here. First time we've seen him in this book as well.
Oh, good. So this is like a first appearance in the Energon universe, yeah? Amazing. So they're there to help. Now, this is basically where they explain, listen, we break the rules. We're part of a sort of G.I. Joe unit that isn't really part of G.I. Joe, and we can break rules. And they're basically recruiting him to start this, what's it called? Night Force, basically, right?
Night Force, so freaking cool.
This is the beginning of Night Force, right? Or the new beginning of Night Force. So they crack it open, and they find none other than a bat, which is a battle android. What is it?
Battle Android Trooper, yeah.
Battle Android Trooper, which is one of whose?
Destro.
Destro's, yeah.
But the fact that these have been running on Energon is huge, because now Night Force have Energon, so that evens the playing.
Right, because this plays into what's going on. So, what is the significance of this android?
It's powered by Energon, so therefore there'll be traces of Energon in it. So. And Energon is obviously the Transformers life force and plays a big part in Void Rivals as well.
Yeah.
But Mars Industries and Destro and Cobra, they're all using it to soup up their vehicles.
Oh, okay. So the Joes haven't found the Energon themselves yet, so that they haven't utilized it. So this gives them an opportunity to have the same, to fight them with their own fire type of thing.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jim, you've got me. I'm going to start reading this book. I'm going to read all the back issues. Yeah, also, it was fun.
Baron Blood said he was hoping to draw out her, and he's talking about the Baroness who took his eye in I think it was the Energon Universe Special 2024. He lost his eye to the Baroness, and he was trying to get revenge on her, but he had no idea there were two teams, because who else did? It's like,
no,
yeah, so cool.
Definite recommend from me. And I'm like, I wasn't a G.I. Joe reader, no, I am now. Yeah. So if that's a
just like Angela, if you've never read G.I. Joe before, this is the perfect place to pick it up.
Well, I did. Thank you. I'm going to read everything that I've missed as well. So that would be cool. Okay, we're going to finish the show. Batman 160, the third part of Jeph Loeb and Jim Lee's return to Hush. What is going on, Jim? Let's be honest. This is definitely not recapturing the magic of the first Hush, right? Let's be honest, yeah?
No,
with ourselves.
It's yeah.
It isn't just me, and the thing is, usually when I put a solo video out about a book,
either. I think the consensus is, if you look at League of Comic Geeks, most people are not liking this story. So, yeah, overwhelmingly negative. I'd never expected it, because it's Jeph Loeb and Jim Lee. Surely two creators that can do no wrong, right? The original Hush was. I own that about 4 times over. I love that story. Can't
trade,
go home again, I
oversized
guess.
hardcovers, absolute edition, original issues, right? But the thing is, I'm seeing the same sentiments echoed as well. Usually when I do a solo video or one of these shows and I say negative stuff, I get a lot of hate, like a lot of hate. You know,
Angelo
I get
against the
one
world.
guy that every time I review Batman and say it's not good, he downvotes my video, and that's fine. Everyone has its own opinion. If he likes it, then great, because it means he's enjoying another book. You know, but the thing is, this time I've had so much positive response of people feeling exactly the same, as in, what is this? It really is. There's no story here, and to be honest with you, it's a bit of a repeat of, you know, Jason Todd's angry again and he wants to piss Batman off. Hush is back to, let's just get into it. The last issue, they're in the cave. Batman's been temporarily knocked out by Jason Todd. Hush is there. Hush reveals the plan. Jason Todd says, "Oh, you're revealing the plan, shush, because, you know, it's all being recorded." He says, "Yes, but I want him to know." And he leaves a clue behind, which is a scalpel, which is made out of Damascus steel. Because he knew Batman would realize what's going on. Of course he's going to know what's going on, right? He knows you're back anyway, right? Don't forget, you left scalpels at the other place, don't forget, when you were chopping up the Joker. So what difference does it make now? Anyway, they're made of this Damascus steel, the same steel that his father used in his medical instruments, and also the same metal that is used by Wayne Tech to make these medical instruments, right? So it's supposed to be significant.
So far,
and
so
that's
convoluted.
The clue. So far, so convoluted. He said, "Oh, why don't I go to the Wayne Tech Medical Tower, which I've never heard of before? I'll find some answers there." Anyway, while he's off on his journey to do that, old Gordon here has a little iPad left over with a friend and a bat sign on it. Why just put a bat sign on it? I mean, you know it's Batman if it's got a bat sign on it, right? It's just weird. I don't understand the thinking of some of this. Anyway, and this is where it gets weird. It's like Hush basically wants to reveal to people that Batman didn't kill the Joker when he had a chance. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? He kind of wants to embarrass Batman and show him up to the world, but half the world hates him anyway. And to be honest, Batman don't give a shit. He's the hero we need, not the hero we want, right? Or is it the other way around? It's like, why not kill him? You could have killed him at the fairground. You could have killed him in the Batcave. Jason Todd could have killed him just then. Why is embarrassing? This is a vigilante dude who lost his parents. He's not going to be embarrassed because of this. He's let the Joker go countless times. It's not the first time. It's a really weird plot. I don't understand. I really don't understand. Anyway, it explodes and Gordon's injured, right? And then we jump to the Gotham Clock Tower and the Riddler's turned up to help them. Like, your enemy is my enemy. Let's be friends, basically, right? And he gives them all this information, well, not really information, this advice that they knew anyway. Kind of pointless. Doesn't explain why he's, wanting to help either. And also tells them, "Oh, I know your secret identities." So, okay. Anyway, Batgirl, Batwoman. What is she in this? She'd be Batwoman, wouldn't she?
I think it's Batgirl.
Batgirl hears over her bat headset or whatever that her dad's been injured, so she pops off to save him, and it's down to Nightwing and the Riddler to go and sort out what's going on. Now we jump to Batman, who's climbing his own building, and he meets this really strange costumed woman.
Oh.
Not someone in the kind of clothing you'd expect someone who works at the tower to be. And he's like, I was not expecting anyone to be working this late. Yeah. Oh, I was not expecting anyone, especially you. I've heard of the Batman, of course, but didn't think you were real. How can I help you? Is this real?
That's some dialogue, isn't it?
Is this honestly real? He'd be like, who the fuck are you? Why are you here? Why are you dressed in a super suit? Why are you insanely attractive and going through the files at this time of night? Those would be my first questions, right? So he goes, "Oh yeah, this serial number's missing from this thing. I want you to look it up." Why is he doing that? So this is a Wayne medical tower, yeah? Why don't he go on his special bat computer, log in to get this information? Why is he going to this person who's also called, first name begins with an A, second name Damascus? Now, if you think that wasn't cheesy enough, guess what? Guess what her superpower is? Yeah, she can bend her arms like Damascus steel into sharp, stabby things. And they have this fight. And then Batman hears this like huge sound in his head saying stop. And it's the dude from the very first issue that has that voice, right? I forget his name because he's forgettable. That guy. While that's happening,
the Youngblood reject. Yeah.
Yeah. While that's happening, Nightwing, I don't know how, has traced Jason and the Joker to this lighthouse, and they start having a little tete-a-tete. Now, what I am going to go back on here is that I think some of Jason's motivation is the Lazarus pit that brought him back, for example, right, wasn't enough. Right, the brain damage that he had from the Joker hitting him with a crowbar. I know. Let me get to. Hold on. Tell me what you're going to tell me, but let me finish this nugget. Right, but Hush, the Lazarus pit that's kept Ra's al Ghul alive for thousands of years, no matter what's happened to him, wasn't good enough to keep Jason Todd in good health, and his brain's basically deteriorating. But Hush, I can save you. Hush is the greatest brain surgeon and all that kind of stuff. But Batman knows the Justice League. You know, he knows gods, has access to everything. Why not just go to him? Well, because he's mad at Daddy. Doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't, to me, like, describe why Jason's like this. It's not a I'm angry at Daddy story for no apparent reason, right? I mean, what do you think? You were going to say something there, and I just...
Ever since Judd Winnick brought Jason Todd back from the dead in the Under the Red Hood story arc, so many other creators have done some amazing character development with him. I mean, up to the point where he's been leading teams like the Outlaws and stuff like that. This just feels like it came from out of nowhere because Jeph Loeb wanted to shoehorn this into the story as well. I mean, it's just undone so many years and so many creators' work, and it makes me angry. Frankly,
it does. It made me angry too. And the thing is, just like his brain condition, this storytelling is regressive. You know, it isn't good. No one's invested here, and you know you do not care. But listen, Jim, I know you've read it, but it does get worse.
Yeah, it does.
So while these two are fighting, right, the Joker who had his jaw literally torn from his skull was beaten to literal death, was cut up to pieces, drugged out of his brain, right, had emergency surgery, is suddenly up with a couple of plasters, grabbed the guns, and it now has 2 Robins at his disposal. Like, really? What's going on here? And then we jump back to Batman and random guy with long hair, The Rock will play him, obviously, in the animation or the film, right? He's still screaming at Batman, but Batman obviously has this like click, just turn the audio off button, right? Okay, and then for some reason we've got like little bat things come out of his gloves, which I thought were cool, but like it's not really. I'm not like, oh yeah, here we go, throwdown time. You know what I mean? I would normally be excited by that. So he punches him, and he realizes that he's not going to win here. And here is the piece de resistance of this book. It's lucky because there is help coming, Jim. Do you know who that help is?
It's Bane doing the Kool-Aid Man thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Bane and Damian randomly turn up out of nowhere at the top of this building through the window. No ropes descending, no plane outside they jump from. They just appear crashing through the window. And Bane's going to help Batman. So Bane's helping Batman. Why Damian's actually gone to Bane for help, I don't know. I doubt that.
Can we just quickly address the fact that in Tom King's run, Bane killed Alfred because Damian snuck back into Gotham City? Why would Damian work with just so much? What the hell? You taken out exactly what I was going to put out. Exactly. Why would Damian? You took the cue really well. Why would Damian help him? Like, it's the last person Damian would go to. It just doesn't make sense at all. And then suddenly, Hush is there. Cool.
How did he get there?
I mean, I hope.
Is there a queue on the roof and they're all coming in one by one? So he magically appears with his Damascus steel scalpel up against Robin and says, 3 Robins are going to die tonight. Like, what is going on? Like, I'm going to get so much hate for this, but it is not good, Jim. Please tell me. Please tell me what's going on, because I really don't get it.
It's not good, and I hope that everybody else who continues reading this enjoys the book, because it's going to be the last issue of Batman I buy for 3 issues' time when Matt Fraction takes over.
Well, that's it, because Matt Fraction's taking over, and this story continues again with another 6 issues later on in the year.
It's going to be a separate mini-series.
A separate mini, yeah.
Title. Yeah.
And that just feels like, you know what? We want you to buy 2 books now instead of 1. You know, we're going to put it back in Batman because that's where it originally was, right? But we know you'll buy 2 books because we've given you half the story. Let's put it in another series that we can sell with loads of variant covers. I just think they've not thought about the fans.
That's wrong, Angelo, because I won't buy that book.
And you know what? And you know what? You're very loyal to stuff.
And I won't buy the next 3 issues of Batman.
No.
So there we go. I've said it.
Well, hush is the operative word here, mate.
And I really worry about this X-Men book you're doing as well. So, yeah. Sorry.
Well, you are the X of men, aren't you? You do love your X-Men. It's a shame, dude. This could have been huge. This could have absolutely. It could have been a new era of Batman ushered in.
I really did want to. I wanted to. Yeah, I really wanted to enjoy it, but I couldn't.
It is difficult. All right, so Jimmy. Out of the books we've reviewed, not all the books that we've both read this week, because there's some other books which will probably take this title. For the books we've reviewed, today on the show, what's your book of the week?
It's G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Mr. Terrific for me.
Absolutely. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that was a good book too. Yeah.
Yep. G.I. Joe is a close second though, my friend.
But the best book we didn't review this week was Void Rivals. My God, that was awesome.
Well, I haven't got to Void Rivals yet, but don't forget, we're taking Everyone Down With Us is also out this week, which I haven't managed to get my copy yet.
No,
yeah,
same.
And that's been 2 stellar issues in a row, so I'm hoping.
And also, Your D Bad Things is out as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that one's not too bad. I like that one too, but I really love the other. We're taking Everyone Down With Us. There's something about that book just.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just click. Okay, that's this week done with Jim. Let's take a look
week.
Next week. Let's see what's out. We've got Absolute Green Lantern, which I'm not a fan of. Absolute Superman, which is getting better. We've got Marvel's version of Batman. We've got Amazing Spider-Man's out. Batgirl's out. Loads of new number 1s. We've got Be Not Afraid, Ghost Rider vs. Galactus. Imperial is landing next week.
Oh, hells yes, Imperial. And also The World to Come.
The Marvel Knights World to Come issue 1. So 2 huge books. Yeah, and we've got Ghost Spider. Pop Kill, Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion, which is probably going to be terrible because it's written by Dennis Camp, and we've got Ultimate Wolverine. So there's some of the books we could take a look at. Is there any other books I missed out that you're going to take a look at?
Daniel Warren Johnson's mini series, The Moon is Following Us. Last issue of that is out. And
okay.
I can't wait for that. Also, David Papose, who wrote Space Ghost and Cable, his Captain Planet and Planeteers issue 2, and I quite enjoyed the first issue of that. So
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we'll pick that up too and sort of do a 1-2 of that one in the next show.
Yes. Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay. Well, my friend, that's it. Now, guys, if you've lasted this long, I appreciate it. Listening to us ramble. Subscribe to the channel if you can. It makes a huge difference. Like the video too. Those are our thoughts. Let us know yours. And until next time, Jim, say goodbye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.
Read more comic books.